First off, we've got to cover the topics that we are going to talk about. So first off, we've got what is punishment? So starting off with the basics here, what is punishment? All right, they're loading the practice mode here. What is punishment and why we use it? So, all right. So first off, hi, Mr. Henry.
Hey, what's up, Henry?
So first off, when we're talking about punishment, we're going to be talking a little bit about frames, because it's really useful in talking about punishment. It's not too important to know specifics on frames for what we're talking about, because that's going into frames is a topic in itself.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions about frames or what we're talking about, just ask and we'll be more than happy to explain it to you. Yeah, so anyways, punishing is when you retaliate with a guaranteed attack after your opponent attacks. Not all attacks are punishable. There's a lot of safe moves in the game. But say Jemiah does something punishable.
Let's start with back to.
Oh, that's well, I can't.
Oh, you can't push that.
I can
Number 1
Yeah, so I can punish it. You can see in the underneath the damage, it popped up the little punish thing, meaning that I got a successful punish. And that means that you couldn't block that attack. So he did a risky attack, and I blocked it and I punished him. So that's what punishing is. There are various types of punishing. We'll get into the various types a little bit. So when you punish your opponent, a couple of things happen. First thing is you get free damage. Free damage is always good because the more damage you deal to your opponent, the quicker you win the round. See? Yeah, but also when you punish their moves successfully, especially if you get like the max damage punish, then you're making them not want to use those moves, and that limits what they can do, or they have to choose to take a risk to use those moves because they know that they can get punished for it. So it's a good way of controlling what your opponent does.
Yeah. Definitely when you're doing stuff like unsafe with Yoshi. Personally, Yoshi's one of the harder people because he's got a lot of stuff like this, like down to is -14 that has transition. But let's go out with this. This is -10, and so like you can get punished for that.
That's only -10 now.
Oh, it's 12. Okay, they did change it. It was 10 in fact. So like.
It was 12.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, so it's like doing stuff like that and doing unsafe stuff. If you have someone and you're playing against someone who punishes you a lot, then, like he said, it changes your options and what you want to do. Like, you want to either play maybe less moves or something like that. When it comes to Yoshi, after you have used and abused everything that is in your arsenal, for example, that's 14. This is 14. Certain people like Brian or Law can launch it. So like if I did something like that against them, it would be something, if the player knew about it, they would launch it and I would have to stop using it. And then it requires me to play safer and have to use more safer options and use them in better situations. Like for example, CD2, it high crushes, true high crush, and it's minus, and it also punishes at 14. So usually in most situations where you're going to play someone who punishes it, you're going to use it in those situations where it's going to high crush, or you're going to put it in something.
So we don't need to go into specific details about moves. Yeah, but every character has punishable moves, and every character can punish punishable moves. So you get free damage, and you can make them want to not use their better moves, or more utility moves. Alright, Right, so there's different types of punishment. The first one that we've already talked about um, is the block punishment. Let's see. Hi, Mr. Henry says, if the first move of a combo is unsafe, punish it, or will the second hit interrupt you? That depends specifically on the string.
Yeah.
There are some strings that you can interrupt, and others that you cannot. Some strings you can delay, like the Yoshi string that Jeremiah was using.
Yeah.
If you do max delay on it, if you do max delay on it, I can interrupt it. But if he doesn't delay it at all, I get hit.
Yeah, and he gets counter. He also has those options.
So it really depends on the specific string and whether or not it's delayable or not. So that's one of the things in Tekken that you have to store in the back of your mind with each character and know about.
And it's just something about knowing certain stuff that are reliable. Like for example, I'll show you this. Shit. And this one, like if I delay it fully, they can actually get a launcher.
Like a big one.
Yeah, like a big ass one. Because it's like 20 frames. But like he was saying, if I don't delay it, they'll get hit and knocked down.
And I tried doing the 10 frame jab fastest move available there.
Yeah.
So that's another example of a string that can sometimes be interrupted, but depending on how it gets delayed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyways, back to the types of punishment. There's the block punishment where you block a move that is punishable and then you punish them for it. Then there's the whiff punishment, which is where you make either you make their move miss or they just spaced it badly. So like for example, if I was out here and I did that move that he walked into, you can actually shoot the move because that way they can see it.
Okay.
So just do something.
Alright.
That's that whole whip.
Oh, that will whip. Okay.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
So you see that you got the punish there. You whip the move, and I can get a big launch for it.
Yeah.
So that's what a whiff punish is. The other thing is you've got high string punishing. High string punishing is one of the hardest ones to do because it takes a lot of knowledge and fast reaction. But if you can do it, you're gonna really maximize what you're. Alex, stop emulating flaw. But yeah, so anyways, the example of a high string punish, back to two. So yeah, so there I ducked his second hit, which I wouldn't normally be able to punish on blockout. I think I might be able to forward to it. Yeah, I can forward to it, but if I duck it, I can get a launch.
Yeah, it's one of the harder ones to duck. It's one variety you don't actually get a lot of people duck unless they're like someone who's either experienced in playing this Yoshi, like that. More common ones that I would say is like this. Unless it's high on that. Well, I see a lot of people with that more long reaction thing effective.
Yeah, and Ina's got high strings like she's got down or this guy punishes me with that all the time. Monstrosa says forward 3, and that one is duckable.
But that one's really hard.
Yeah, it is really hard. You have to know what's coming in order to do it, or have really good reactions. So those are the 3 types of punishment. Right. So now that we talked about types of punishment, I did want to chat a little bit about frames, because oftentimes knowing some things about frames is useful, but knowing a little bit of the lingo will help you understand things. So when someone says that a move is punishable, what they mean that it is -10. You don't necessarily need to know what -10 means, but you know that it's punishable, and that's usually just jabs. So you get 1-2. Most people get 1-2. Other people have different 10-frame punishers. Yeah, so if a move is -10 or more, it's considered punished. Yoshi has a special case where he's got his bash move that can some moves. But that's a special case, and we're not going to get into it. So when we when we talk about moves that are like minus 10 or minus 15, that means that person attacking not attack or block for a certain length of time after the defender can. The bigger the negative number, the more punishable, or the more time passes before they can act.
Yeah, personally, like that, this is just, I think that when you know frames and you know your punishers, at least, personally, if you want to learn frames, like in position, that, it makes block punishment and learn punishment in the lab a lot easier if you know all the frames of your punishment. For example, this is a 14 frame punisher. Like, I know all my punishers in the sheet. So, like, it makes it easier where I can narrow it down instead of having to, like, I have to remember about all those moves that are minus 13 and such, but it makes it just as much harder as if, like, I didn't know what this was and I just knew to punish certain stuff. So, like, I feel like it makes it a lot easier on yourself when you know just at least your punishers. You don't have to, like, know it down for one, focus on plus or anything. But knowing your punishers in general for frames.
Right. Yeah, so if I did a minus 13 move, like I can actually minus 13,
Yeah.
you could punish that with his 13 frame move, but if I did the same 13 frame minus 13 frame move, you could not punish it with his 14.
Yeah.
So if he tries doing that, I can block it.
And then, like, for, of course, I get punished for it, especially. Or,
Alright, Flaw. Flaw, you're now emulating Monstroso emulate you.
oh, funny, yeah.
Alright, but yeah, so DT flip, there's a, I should have put this in the actual link, or in the actual outline, but there is a website that has frame data. It's mostly accurate. It is manually updated, so there are some inaccuracies. The Tekken Chicken app pulls data from this, so it's the same information, just you can access it on your phone if you don't have two screens. Also, Henry says, if you have the PC version, there is a thing called the Tekken bot that displays the information. I thought about just showing it off, and I might do that if you have time afterwards. But it pulls data directly from the game, and it's not 100% accurate because there are some peculiarities on moves in the game. But it's pretty good. Yeah. So let's see. Right. And so another couple more terminologies that you will hear is when we're talking about frames is if something is jab punishable, it usually means like minus 10 to 12-ish. So that means you can get jab set. If something is launch punishable, that means it's minus 15, and almost every character has a 15 frame launch. His is down forward 2, Yoshi's is also down forward 2. And a launch is a lot of damage. You're going from maybe 20 or 30 damage to full combos, which can get upwards of 70 damage plus, depending on walls, door breaks, and whatnot. So yeah, that's what we mean by jab punishable and launch. So those are just things to store away in the back of your mind. Yeah. So I think that about covers what punishing is and why we do it. Do you have anything else to add to this section, Maya?
No, not really. Honestly.
Alright. Then we will go on to talking about block punishing. We talked a little bit about this before, but we'll go into more